Then you have Death of Doctor Strange. You have this is within the series as opposed to dipping into Avengers, which I prefer. This at least this is the better approach. Death of Doctor Strange, Avengers issue 1 by Alex Paknadel, who of course wrote Red Fork, which we love that book from TKO, with Ryan Bodenheim as the artist. And then there's also Darkhold Blade issue 1, which I'm very interested in. This is as much as I'm not sure what all this Darkhold stuff is. I haven't looked into it. But I want more Blade. Give me more Blade. I would love to see more of him. And then another guy who was like, this popped up on my radar. I'm like, wait a second. I didn't know this was a thing. Luke Cage, City of Fire, issue 1 by Ho Chen Anderson and Fareed Karami. Very much interested in this. This 100%. I think that's going to be really cool. Then we go over to DC Comics, and this is a big week for DC. We got a few huge first issues, but before we get to those, Detective Comics 1044, Robin 7, Deathstroke Inc. issue 2, Superman versus Lobo issue 2. Then for the first issues, I don't need to tell you guys on this one, DC versus Vampires issue 1 by James Tynion and Matthew Rosenberg with Otto Schmidt as the artist. I'm already balls deep into this thing, and I haven't even looked at a single page of it. Although we may already have those, and I got to check with that website. Our review copies, we may already have that. Same goes for Task Force Z issue 1. Again, Matthew Rosenberg, and this is with Eddie Barrows, who drew the series with Chip Zdarsky, the Red Hood series in Batman Urban Legends, and Red Hood is at the center of this shit too. So all in on that. Very excited to give Aquaman, Green Arrow, Deep Target issue 1 a shot, written by Brandon Thomas, who, of course, writes Excellence. Very interested in that. Ronan Cliquette, which you may recognize that name from the Rick Grayson run of Nightwing. So try not to hold it against that guy. It's not his fault, at least I don't think. Then we got Batman Fortnite one-shot issue 1. Scott Snyder's involved in this. I'm not a Fortnite guy, so I'm not going to give it a shot, but maybe Shine will go and give it a read. Who knows? But those are some, even without that, they got some, even when you include that, and I think a lot of people will be interested in that. That's a lot of heavy hitting first issues for that week. Image.
So Image, we have crossover number 9, Radiant Black number 9. Keep your eye on this one because there's going to be some cool stuff with the cover for this particular issue. I believe that Liggins says when we interviewed him.
Yeah, it's 9, right? Not 10? Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah. Undiscovered Country number 17, Ice Cream Man 27, The Good Asian number 6, and Frontiersman number 2, which I'm not reading.
Okay, and that's fair. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to go to either. It was the first one. It was fine, but there's too much. Image alone is putting out too much good shit. And then I got this right here, which I'm interested in: the Magic Order 2, issue 1. And I was like, is there a Magic Order 1? I don't think there is. I couldn't find it, but you guys didn't look hard enough. But this is by Mark Millar and Stuart Immonen. Magical Turf War like you've never seen before. The London chapter of the Magic Order has entered the scene, and these tough Guy Ritchie-style gangsters have a problem with the East European warlocks moving into their territory. It doesn't take much for me to get interested in involving magic, so I want to give this a try.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth giving a shot, and see where it goes.
For all the first issues that we've talked about this week, though, Joe, the biggest one may be coming from Boom. Of course, we have Once and Future, issue 21, and Dark Blood 4, but we also have
House of Slaughter number 1. So this is a spinoff. This is sort of, where something something is killing the children ended. The latest arc has been a bit of a flashback, sort of an origin story for Erica Slaughter. And it's been a perfect lead into what we're going to get here with House of Slaughter number 1, written by Tynion and Tom Bromball. And they got Chris Sheehan, who is the artist on the Autumnal, to be the artist on this book, along with, jeepers, what's his name? But anyways,
you're all in on this.
I'm all in on this. I can't. So this is going to be taking a look more at one of the other characters from House of from Something's Killing Children, Aaron, and sort of his backstory, and more about the House of Slaughter, but more about that world in general. So I am. You want to talk about balls deep? I'm in it, baby.
All in on this shit for sure. All right, from AWA, we have Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal, issue 6, and Moths 5. From IDW, the only thing I think at all that's coming out this week was the TMNT Best of April O'Neil, issue 1, which I think is really smart that they're doing all these best stuff with Last Ronin going on.
And it's the one cover I don't like.
Oh, man, I really did not like this one. From Dark Horse, we have Black Hammer Reborn issue 5. And then we have another Hellboy. I think it's going to be a one-off. The last one was a one-off, too. If not, it's going to be a miniseries, Hellboy, The Silver Lantern Club, issue 1. I'm absolutely anything Hellboy. I'm interested in reading, as much as that movie was a bit of a letdown for a lot of people. From Vault, we have The Last Book You'll Ever Read, issue 4, and The Rush. Is that the first issue, I think, of that for that one? And then Aftershock, Joe. We got a couple of first issues that you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, so one, and this is just sort of like, I believe it's a one-off. It's from Colin Bunn, Jim Starlin, Frank Thierry, Joe Pruitt. This is a bit of an anthology book. So After Dark #1, Tales from the Crypt meets the Twilight Zone. 4 tales of horror, lost souls, and things that go bump in the night. So one-off anthology or one-off horror book with a bunch of different stories in it. I mean, especially when one of them is Cullen Bunn, right?
Yep. Well, one shocks that have been pretty impressive so far, especially when Cullen's done them. So yeah, this is now keep paying attention to Aftershock and if they announce anything, because when we just a peek behind the curtain, when Joe and I were getting our list together, originally this was in the first half of the month.
Yeah.
Then it got moved to the 3rd week, and then we saw the 4th week. So, per League of Comic Geeks is where we get our layout for all of this shit. So
this really has to come out in October, though, because this book doesn't make any sense in November.
Exactly.
And then the last book that comes out in the last week of October from Aftershock, Cross the Bear #1 by Marko Stojanovic and Sinisa Bonovic. Jack the Ripper was never caught because no one was looking for him in the Wild West. No one except the Order, an organization made up of descendants of the Crusaders, sworn to eradicate the unnatural.
This sounds fucking amazing, Joe.
Yeah,
that sounds so. Oh, I'm so in on that. Real quick, just to circle back, because I did mention The Rush. That is the first issue of The Rush, coming out the week of October 27th, and that is actually by Cy Spurrier. So that's someone else who I like their work quite a bit.
Yeah.